All right, boys, farming update part 10 or advanced quest part 10. I know some people are like, it's not the farming update. Look, buddy, they give us material to help us farm. Therefore, it is the farming update. And on this channel, it will be known as such. Your boy has spoken. Anyway, it has come out, and I'm going to drop a little guide to kind of help you guys get through this. And I actually recorded some of my runs for this. So if you guys want to see some potential team comps to use, I thought I'd go ahead and bring those. Now, you may notice that it is blank over here on the wiki. That's because they have not actually updated it. But that's why I went ahead and also recorded some gameplay for the actual fight, so you guys can actually see what some of these bosses do. So I'm going to go ahead and read off real quick what this first fight actually does. So this one is called Chivalry. You fight 6 Knight Enforcers, 2 of each Knight class type. So 2 Sabers, 2 Archers, 2 Lancers. The gimmick is that the Knights take turns to attack a pair at a time. So the Sabers will attack, and then the Archers and the Lancers will kind of be on standby. They can still attack you, but the ones that are attacking will get full NP and they'll get a damage boost. Meanwhile, the other guys will get damage resistance. But as you guys are probably seeing right now, I didn't really care too much about that. I used Ibuki over here, and I'm pretty sure the gameplay is probably still covering this up a little bit, but Ibuki works out really, really well for this for me. I think just in general, any servant that you can have loop, so like if you can buster loop your way through it, if you can arts loop your way through it, quick loop your way through it, although quick looping might be a little bit harder because you can't bring a friend servant, and that also makes sure that you're wasting a lot of team costs. You'll notice in a lot of these, I just ran 5-man setups because trying to fit in a 6-person was kind of detrimental to the actual CEs because I guess we just take for granted the fact that, having a free support type servant really cuts down on team costs. But Ibuki did really good wonders for me. She's really good for like some of these harder, more like difficult fights just because her looping ability is really good. She's, just as good as someone like Musashi, but she's also got a battery. So when at some point you'll see that they try to like hit me with a battery or like an NP gain down effect, she can actually pull that out to kind of help herself loop. But again, I would recommend maybe bringing something with the debuff cleanse because it does seem like they can hit you with some types of debuffs, and it seems that like each row of them has some certain buff. Like it looked like the Lancer or one of them had like a guts or something, but really it's not that hard at all. It was not that difficult. Just bring someone that you can confidently do a 3-turn loop with, and you'll be absolutely fine. You will just cook these guys up quick, fast, and in a hurry. Now, the second one might be a little more difficult depending on what you've got. So you'll see that I used Kriemhild because you're going to be fighting a really beefy Kiyohime. And I chose Kriemhild because, I wanted to use her anti-dragon effect. But one of the things that's going to be really determining on what you actually bring or who you actually bring is if they have Pierce Invincibility or not. Because Ibuki over here has... Not Ibuki. Did I say Ibuki for that as well? Kiyohime. Kiyohime has 30 stacks of invincibility, right? So they're 1 hit apiece. Basically, if you want to hit her with normal servants, you got to land 30 normal attacks, which is a little bit ridiculous. So obviously, you're just going to bring Pierce Invincibility. So for Kriemhild, I just gave her this Valentine Witch's CE because this is really good. But there is the free-to-play Altera CE that you can get in the Mana Prism shop, or like you can, I think it's now with rare Mana Prisms, the gold ones. So I believe you can get that, but that's also free to play. That starts you with 50% battery, and it gives you permanent ignore invincibility. I had to use this one because I thought it was really good with Kriemhild because extra damage, Pierce Invincibility, and NP gain is all really helpful. And plus, there's other obvious reasons why I chose to use this CE, So that's who I used for that fight. It really wasn't super difficult. You'll see at the very end here, because I'm sure that the Ibuki gameplay is still running right now as I'm talking about this one, because there wasn't a lot to talk about with the Ibuki one, but whenever this one comes up, you'll see that it ends with Kiara coming in at the very, very end and just kind of claps up for like 100k. It's probably very wise to bring someone in the back, and I'll read you guys the details. You want to be wary about using female servants, but I decided to use like pretty much all female servants just to see like if it would still be really difficult, right? So obviously, if you have any male servant that you want to slap Pierce Invincibility on, someone like Siegfried, or you want to bring Sigurd, they'll absolutely clap this girl up, because especially in like Siegfried's case, he has defense against dragons as well, so he'll be taking even less damage, right? So you could bring like Merlin, Waver, Siegfried / Sigurd, and you'll probably just obliterate this girl, and the CE is free to play. But Kiyohime, she opens the fight by giving herself anti-female damage, and it is a lot. She will one-shot your servants. It is a lot of damage. She gives herself NP damage up and 30 stacks of invincibility. That is 1 hit apiece. She loses a stack of invincibility every time you use a master skill. I never really encountered that. I found it more frequent that I would just attack her and she would actually lose her stacks. She reduces your NP anytime your front line gets filled with females, so that's why I kind of had Waver plus the 2 ladies as well to kind of prevent that. And then she will actually get random buffs at the end of every turn. It looks like it's planned out. I ran this a couple of times, and it seems like, you know, she'll get like defense, then an attack buff, then like an NP damage buff, then she'll like remove all of your buffs, then get Pierce Invincibility. And I'm not sure if there's anything past that, but I've never really gotten that far in the fight where she started pulling out just insane like other stuff. So like these just random other buffs. The one that was the most destructive and ended the run before the one you guys will be seeing right now is the one where she just removed all of my buffs, and I lost at the very end because I only brought 3 people. I didn't have any, you know, backline servants because I was like, oh yeah, I could clap her up with Krimhild, and made a couple of misplays and ended up losing that fight. But she's really not super hard. Just make sure you're packing like Pierce Invincibility and you'll be able to get that for yourself. Now the third one, the Fion one, this one is annoying. I actually don't have gameplay of this one because I made like 3, 4, 5 attempts, and because it's kind of RNG based, it was just really ticking me off. And so I was like, you know what, I'll just tell them about the fight, because I was having a hard time getting like an actual good run, and I just didn't want to bother with it. But Fion starts out with arch resistance by 30% and then a 50% special damage resistance against NPs. So A, they don't want you using art servants because I think using Yugioh would be a little too good, and B, they really don't want you to like just bomb him with like an NP or something. So they really don't want you using Yugioh, and they kind of want you to just obliterate this guy with crits. Not a problem. My idea was to use someone like Kama, and she's been the one that I've been having a lot of success with. Now, you might be like, well, Kama sure is able to generate some good crits, but why her in particular? Well, you actually want to be charming Fion with female servants because he gives himself these 10k regeneration stacks, and he loses one every time a female charms him. But also keep in mind that he gives himself mental debuff immunity whenever he fires his own NP. But I thought the reason this would kind of counteract is because Kama over here buffs her ability to charm people. Yeah, it's right there. Like, she has like this ability to charm people, and she's able to buff it. It's somewhere. I don't remember. Yeah, there you go. She reduces their charm resistance. There you go. I was like, I know she buffs her ability to charm. So it's like, it makes it a bit more easy for you to land the charms as well. Because I believe he also has magic resistance as one of his passives. And so that can also help you land some of those charms. What got really annoying is that he'll randomly start lowering your NP, and he'll just start like throwing up dodges all over the place. So I would just advise you to try to end the fight as fast as possible. But like, if you get bad hands where you're like not able to start looping your Kama's NP, or you're not getting the crits, or you're about to fire an NP like I was about to with Kama, and then he sucks away 30% of your NP, it can get a little bit annoying, right? It can get a little frustrating, but it's one of those ones that once you kind of get some good RNG, you should be able to beat it pretty easily, right? It's one of those ones that like, it's not super difficult, it's just like more RNG heavy, and it's a bit annoying. But yeah, those are the new hunting quests, and I think the rewards are super worth it. I mean, the night medals are really good, proofs I'm always going to take, and then the dragon scales I think are super, super nice as well. Although I haven't really encountered many servants as of late that really need these, but again, we might be getting some other guy that really needs a lot of dragon scales. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you're playing JP, let me know what you're going to use to take down some of these quests. Make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for that daily FGO content. If you want to see my attempts on these missions live, you can always come peep the Twitch, which is linked down in the description down below. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day. Peace. Late, guys.